Testing out this
recording?
microphone. That looks better. Yes.
Recording. Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome back to the Potted Together podcast. My name is Adam and I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Becca and Nicole. Hello.
Woo! Hello.
Woo!
Howdy.
Today we're giving another go talking about rare plant dupes.
Let's see if we can make it through this.
If you stuck it through last episode, you realize that we never really got to the topic and it was just chaotically great. But today we're going to get to the topic. But first we're going to do our catch up like we always do. So what's been new in the lives of you two?
Nicole, you should go first because you just got back from a trip.
Oh, that's
I
right.
did. Yeah, so last week, we just got back yesterday, actually. We went to Wisconsin, Lake Geneva specifically. It was great. It was very relaxing. I did not film. I just posted on stories a little bit, and it was nice to just kind of unplug for the most part. I think the highlight of it, though, was we rented a pontoon. I never realized how fast pontoons go. Like, they go pretty dang fast. My dad had a pontoon because he had a camper in Antioch, Illinois, which is just North Illinois. And I've only been out on it like a couple of times, but his never went that fast. It was like super slow, just cruising and chilling. But it was a bigger one, so I always thought like, well, that's what pontoons are for. They're for cruising, which I feel like they are. But this one had some speed to it. I was like, are we sure this isn't a speedboat? It was a lot of fun, though. It was really fun. We were nervous. Go ahead.
Have either of you ever driven a boat, like you or Jay?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. No.
Well, I haven't either. No.
Okay. So the whole time, like we're filling out the forms or whatever, I'm talking to this girl. Everybody that works at these shops for these boat rentals and like wave runners they can't be a day over 16 years old. So like they're younger, right? And I'm just like, so if a speedboat crashes into us, do we have to pay for that? Like, I'm asking all these like stupid questions, and she's just like, you've never driven a boat before, have you? And I was like, no. She's like, that's okay. We're gonna go over everything with you. And she was like talking me down from like the ledge of not going through with it. And me and Jay were just like worried that we were going to have to pay if we damaged this boat. Like we were so worried we were going to damage the boat. He was more concerned about parking it, but they tell you to come in like to the dock and then they like hop on the boat and park it for you, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it was a lot of fun. Like we now want a boat and a lake house and all that goes with that.
I bet.
Oh my gosh.
It was so much fun.
Jay looked so happy driving that boat. In the story that you posted, he was just like on cloud nine, it looked like.
Yeah. It's funny because we're city people, so like it's just not the life we live, you know? But we were like, yeah, we could be these people for this week. We're fine with it. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. So I'm surprised that they let you rent the boat without having a boat, experience or anything.
Well, yeah, that's the question I was going to ask, because I went up there and I was like, do you need a boat license? And she, like, I said it not even knowing if that was even a thing. And she's like, no, you don't need your boater's license. 95% of the people that rent boats from us have never driven a boat before. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, that made me feel a little bit better. But then I was like,
or worse.
Is that a selling tactic? Yeah. Yeah. But can I just tell you how expensive it is to rent water toys? Like wave runners, okay? Wave runners, $95 for 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
What?
I was going to say an hour.
30 minutes, $95. The pontoon, we took it out for a little over 2 hours and it was right around $400. But I feel like that's worth it though. I feel like that's worth it because it's like you're out on the water for so long, you know, like that's a long time to be out there. And we saw pretty much the whole, like all of Lake Geneva. We saw all the houses around there. So, you know, I feel like that was more worth it than 30 minutes on a wave runner. But wave runners are fun too. So I was torn.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've always said that if I ever got a boat, it would be a pontoon boat because I just want to be out on the water, like just hanging out and drinking.
Yeah.
Because I don't go swimming in lakes. Like if the water's not flowing, I'm not going. Like it's not happening.
So I went swimming in Lake Geneva. We went in the water, and the whole time I could just hear you saying, no, I will not swim in a lake. Like I just remember the conversations we had about you not going in the lake, and I was like, and there was fish like at our feet, and I was just like, oh, okay, we're doing this.
I mean, I would go in a lake, like the Great Lakes. It's almost like the ocean, so like that's fine with me. But like I've been in plenty of lakes where like fish start like trying to bite on your moles that are on your body, and I'm just like,
what?
Get out of here! Yeah, like they'll go for your nipples. I think it's because it's dark. I don't know.
Oh
well,
no!
and mine are exposed, but
yeah. No.
Oh my gosh! No, thank you. That's horrifying.
Just a little nib. Just a little.
They stayed away from our feet for the most part, but like. I wasn't really looking down. I was just swimming. And then Mia was like, look, there's fish. And I mean, these fish weren't like little tiny minnows. Like these were big ass fish, you know? And I was like, why are they here? Like, why are they at the shore? So,
oh gosh.
Yeah, I don't know.
I went kayaking on a lake here with my friend Jessica, and we were just like cruising along, and this guy was fishing on the bank, and he like pulled up a fish. The thing was huge. And Jessica was like, whoa, did you catch that in the lake? And the guy was like, yeah. And then she looks at me and she goes, we're not getting in the water. I was like, yeah, I wasn't going to.
We're not getting in the
seeing
water.
that.
We're not getting in the water. That's so funny.
That is so gross.
Yeah. So, but overall, it was a lot of fun. It was relaxing. And we had a good time.
Vacation Nicole likes wine, huh?
I guess she does.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. You know, I had steak my first night, and I was like, well, what goes well with steak? Red wine, duh. But see, I'm not a wine drinker, and I really like the look of red wine in a glass as opposed to white wine in a glass. It's like, it's an appearance thing for me, but I can't drink dry wine either. And a lot of red is dry, or it's just like, I don't know the word, bitter.
So bitter, yeah.
Yeah, so I pretty much asked for like the sweetest, almost dessert wine that they had, and it was really good. It was a Pinot, but it was pretty good. Yeah, I'm a wine drinker on vacation. Go figure.
Sweet wine all the way. You can't catch me with the bitter wine. Like, why? It doesn't even. It's. Ugh.
Yeah.
What's the point? Your mouth is all dry and then you're thirsty. Like, I just think it's. I don't get it. My parents are wine drinkers. We used to go to wineries all the time growing up because they wanted to go. So I was just like sitting there eating the crackers. And my parents are having so much fun having all their wine. And I just was just watching like this.
Speaking of you and your parents, let's hear your catch up for the week because you're in Tucson.
Yeah, I'm in Tucson right now. I'm visiting my family and some friends and also Tank's Green stuff. So we're doing some content shoots here and basically just catching up. I'm only here for a few days. So, you know, it is nice to be home though. It feels weird because it doesn't even feel like home anymore. Like it feels weird to call it home. It doesn't feel right. Because like it's familiar like home would be, but it's not home. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so strange. And I'm like driving around. It's particularly green right now because of all of the rain that they've been getting.
I heard.
And like it just doesn't compare to Missouri.
No,
I know.
You're whispering. You're whispering because your parents are in the other room.
I'm such a traitor. Like I was always like, no, but the desert is like beautiful in its own way. But now that I'm coming back here after being in Missouri, I'm like, it's not that pretty here. It's actually really ugly and scary.
Yeah. It's like a beige wonderland of just like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, and like I was noticing that, well, I was driving in like the inner city area earlier because I was at Tank's offices and they're like mostly in like the east side of Tucson. And it's just very like overgrown in the neighborhoods. Like there's not like, they're not spraying for weeds or anything. And like here, that contrast is so heavy because it's like rocks and then weeds, and you just know when it's a weed.
Right.
And then like in Missouri, it's like way more overgrown and like so much worse by that standard, but it blends in because there's trees and grass, so everything just blends in, so you can't tell that things are overgrown. You know what I mean? So I was just like, that's so interesting how places like Missouri can get away with having like an outstanding amount of weeds just because everything is green, so it just blends in.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the weeds are like human size.
Yeah, they're taller than me most of the time. Like they're massive, taller than Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just like thinking to myself, like before I went on, but like before I like got it in my head that it's like ugly here, I was like, well, hold on a second. It only seems like that because it's like rocks and then all of this like random green puffs. You know what I mean? It's just not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you have to work a lot harder to keep things manicured here, I feel.
But see, I feel like that makes sense because being from the Midwest and growing up here and only living here my whole life, I think the desert is beautiful. Like I was mesmerized when I went there. And yeah, it is dead and beige, but I just find so much beauty in like the mountains and the stones and like the landscape out there.
Yeah.
Like more so than like the Midwest is beautiful. All the green is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like I'm more attracted to desertscape than greenery, you know?
Okay.
So that makes sense.
I was thinking about why I suddenly thought it wasn't that pretty here, because here's my thought. In Missouri, like so much of the, and maybe in like really green places, so much of the natural landscape is preserved with the building and stuff like that. At least where I live, you know, there's still like big plots of like trees and like all of that. But here, when they like put in a neighborhood complex, it's like all pavement. Like there's no preservation of the cacti and like the natural native plants and stuff. Like maybe they'll re-enter it back in, but they're not building around it. They just clear it and then add back in where they think it's necessary. And I guess I've always known that because like there were several deserts that got completely cleared to build houses. But I don't know what it is, but I was just thinking about that because like if the desert landscape was more prevalent in a not so curated way, I feel like I might think differently because it is so curated.
Yeah.
I don't know. None of this is bad. Obviously, it's developments. Like the city's growing.
Yeah.
These things happen. I don't know. Just observationally.
I feel like if you went back to, I feel like if you maybe took a little day trip to Mount Lemmon and took that space in, you'd probably feel a little different.
I know. I feel emotional about going back to Mount Lemmon. I was thinking about doing it, but I feel weird going without Daniel now because that's where we got married. Like I would want him to come with me. But also, I don't know if I even want to go back to Mount Lemmon because what I loved about Mount Lemmon is there was all of the trees and it was so green, but it's not like Missouri is so much greener. Like I don't want to be disappointed.
True.
Speaking of being disappointed, I went to EG's. You guys.
I was gonna just ask you. I was just gonna ask.
I went
Tell
there
me
for
you
lunch.
didn't like it.
I didn't like it anymore. This is so sad.
No.
Okay, the drink was
That's
still
so
good,
sad.
but like I started eating the food and I was like, "There's no flavor in this. Like I don't taste anything. Like
Oh no.
it didn't taste like even the ranch didn't taste like anything." I was like, "Okay, maybe I got a bad batch. I'm gonna try it again just to make sure." But like the drink was still good as I remembered it. But I remember EG's was everything. I had EG's like a couple times a week. It was my whole life when I was living here. And I spent the last 11 months pining over EG's and thinking about it.
You did.
And then I ate it and I was like, this is just not that good. And I feel really embarrassed that I was telling everybody EG's is the best place in the world and it's not.
Well, I thought it was pretty good.
I think EG's holds like a sentimental / like home connection because there's a few restaurants like that in Nebraska that are just like, but they're only found in Nebraska. So it was like, that's what was important. Mm-hmm. But yeah, could you taste the drink? Because now I'm worried that you couldn't taste anything. Like, huh?
I thought this, right? Literally the same thought crossed my mind. Okay. I was eating it on the way back here before we did this. And that thought did cross my mind. I'm like, I'm not picking up any flavors. Like, is this like a COVID thing? So I like took a drink of the drink and I could, full flavors. It was exactly how I remember it. So I was like, okay, so it really is just the fries and the sandwich. Because like I was eating the fries. I'm like, this is just tastes like a potato that was put in the oven. Like there's no salt, there's no spices, there's like nothing on it. So like, I don't know. I'm going to give it another chance. I'm going to go with my friends, not eat it alone in the car. Maybe the vibes will be better. But
have you found any places in Missouri that you and Daniel love to eat at that maybe, set your standard a little bit higher for fast food?
I don't know. We were actually talking because like before he dropped me off at the airport, like he wanted to like go out to dinner and like spend some time together. And I was like, oh, okay. And then like a bunch of stuff, like my packing took longer than I thought and he had a phone call. So he was like, oh, well, let's just like go just to like a quick chain restaurant or whatever. So in my mind, like Panera has sort of replaced EG's for me and also like Jimmy John's. But like Jimmy John's is not that, like it's good, but it's not, it kind of did taste better than the EG sandwich. But like Panera, I think is definitely better than EG's for sure. Because there's so many like flavors and it's like more Mediterranean, which I prefer just as a genre of food. I don't know if it's more Mediterranean, but the thing I get from there is more Mediterranean. So I don't know if there's something that's like replaced EG's in my heart. But I think I just really hyped it up in my head,
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I feel like if you're in Tucson, you have to get EG's. Like, it's just like you have to.
Yeah.
It's not the best. Their drinks are really good. Like, the actual EG's.
The drinks are great.
They're so good.
Yeah.
But the food is just like,
Like, it needs some salt on it.
Oh yeah, you can tell she's in the Midwest now. She's like, where's all my salt?
Oh God, I know.
You need some dry beef jerky to go with that EG.
Some dried beef jerky. Yeah. Yeah. So, last thing I'll say about the travels. On the plane ride here, I stopped over in Dallas. So from Dallas to here, I watched the movie Barb and Star go to the Vista Del Mar. Have you guys seen it?
No.
Oh, Barb and Star? Yeah.
Okay. It was not good.
No, it's so bad. And I was so excited for it.
Wait, is it Kristen Wiig?
Yeah.
My God,
okay,
I love
but
her.
you know what it got on Rotten Tomatoes? 80%. What?
Don't trust it.
Movies that are truly so good will get like a 60%. And I'm like, what?
True.
Like, I feel
Is
like...
it just real stupid, dry comedy?
Yeah, well, it's like... It's in the genre of comedy as like Step Brothers, but not as good as Step Brothers. I've never seen Step Brothers, but I know that Step Brothers is like iconic. And like everybody refers to it. Like, did we just become best friends? Like, I have so many quotes. I've never even seen the movie, but I just know. And I feel like, okay, somebody on Rotten Tomatoes, like with their review, said it's like a fever dream. It's like Kristen Wiig's fever dream when she was on SNL in the 80s. Or I don't know if these events overlapped. But like if she was on SNL in the 80s, Kristen Wiig's fever dream after she's like taken a hit. Like a hit too many or something. I was like,
oh no.
It's so true because there'll be like random like musical scenes and it's just so random. You have the villain. It was just so weird.
A villain? What?
There was just so many times.
It was very weird.
Yeah, there's just so many times watching it. I was like, I should turn this off. But then I was like, well, I'm just sitting on the airplane, so
What else do I have to do?
yeah, like it really doesn't whatever. So anyway, that's the last thing I have to say.
Reba McEntire makes a little cameo at the end of that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love her.
And so does Morgan Freeman. Like, there's like weird cameos. I'm like, these celebrities are huge. Like, it would be so expensive to get them on the show, even for a few minutes. And they're literally like just popping up randomly. I'm like, what is going on? Like, the amount of money that probably
Sometimes
went in.
Yeah.
But I think-
Sometimes like big stars do that though.
Yeah, for like a random movie. Like, maybe if they like Kristen Wiig and they're like, hey, I'll, spend a single day on set for you. Like, this is funny. Like, this is such a weird movie.
She's great though. She is so great. I'm disappointed. I really wanted to see that too.
I mean, you should watch it, but like, don't like sit through it if you're really hating it. Like, don't waste your time,
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
maybe just partake in the devil's lettuce before you watch it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like then you might. I feel like maybe it's a movie that's supposed to be watched in under that state, because it's like very colorful, random things happening. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
like
Duly noted.
their accents were really bad though. That was hard to get over. It was a really terrible Midwestern accent, really bad.
Yeah.
So that was hard to get over too, because like some words didn't have because I was like, Midwestern people don't sound like that. Like, even like it was obviously over dramatic to make the character very obvious who it was, but I was just like, it's just too much, because like they literally don't sound like that. Like, it was like
Yeah.
Aren't they
Canadian
supposed, aren't they
to a
supposed to
point.
be from like, well, I think they're supposed to be like Wisconsin/Minnesota, so like
Yeah.
that accent kind of does have, but they really did overplay it. Well, even the title, like Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar, they just constantly would do
Yeah,
that.
that sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was almost like have you guys seen the movie New in Town?
No.
With
Oh.
Reese Witherspoon?
No, not with Reese. It's the woman who plays Bridget Jones's Diary. What's her name?
Oh, Renee
Oh.
Zellweger. Yeah.
Yeah, she's in
Okay.
it. Okay, there's a bunch of people. I think they're in like Wisconsin or something, and their accents don't sound contrived. Like, it sounds real, and it's still funny. So I was like, they could have taken some notes, but maybe that was the point. As at the same time, like, maybe it was a movie that was supposed to be bad because it's funny, like Step Brothers. So I'm like, okay, I don't really know what the creative vision was, but I think they did what they wanted. So anyway.
Oh, man. What airline did you take? American?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like American,
I was trying to think.
but
I was
Yeah.
trying, because that's what I flew to Orlando, and I was trying to, like, they had selections of movies, and I did see that one on there, but I had already seen it, so I was like, nope, not doing that again.
no.
Wait, question. Do you not like American, but did you only take it because prices were the cheapest? Very specific question.
Okay, pretty much the only reason that I don't like American is because their pet policy is really inconsistent and dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I had a bad experience last year. We know, had a meltdown.
Right.
It was horrible. And ever since then, I'm like, I don't like them. But it's American and United are the only airlines that fly out of Colombia.
Oh.
And it's more
gotcha.
often American. So that kind of sucks for us. Like, if we ever want to travel with our dogs by plane, we can't. Unless it's United.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just airfare in general, but I've been trying to see, like, I want Jay to go to New York, and we've been trying to get tickets, but I can't physically bring myself to pay more than $200 for a flight from Chicago to New York. I just can't. It's less than 2 hours. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's like over $400 still, no matter where I look. It's insane.
Jeez.
Unless he's booking a ticket like 10 months out from now, then
Yeah.
it's just, I don't get it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I paid around that to come out here. Like, it's so
Okay.
expensive. Like, but I was like, you
Well,
know
that
what?
makes more sense though, because you're going from the Midwest to
Yeah.
Arizona, so that's
Yeah.
a 3.5 hour, 4 hour plane ride as opposed to less than 2 hours. Like, why?
Yeah. That's wild. That is wild to me. I don't know. Every time we've ever flown out to the Midwest from Arizona before, it was like around $250 each, which seems like pretty
Yeah.
average. I was like, okay, I'm fine spending that. But it was more than that this time, like significantly more. But also because I paid for convenience, because I flew out of Columbia and into Tucson, which, like, That's just how I am now. I don't want to go through the trouble of driving to Kansas City and flying into Phoenix. So I drive 2 hours, and then I drive 2 hours, and then I do the whole thing again 4 days later. It's like, no.
No, it's worth
It's like
your time is more important than the money, you know?
Yeah. It was like, I don't know, maybe $100, $150 more. And I was like,
worth it.
it's just worth it. De La Plan's
You're
gonna
gonna
afford
pay
it.
You're gonna pay that in gas, like 4 hours, you know, 8 hours. It adds
I know
up.
that Southwest flies out of Tucson. I wonder if they go direct. Do they go direct to St. Louis? Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. Do you have to be a Southwest like card holder to book with Southwest?
No.
No.
Oh no.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
I
you
like
did.
flying Southwest, even though like I hate that you have to do the check-in right 24 hours ahead to get like a decent seat. But also their bag policy, like it's free. You don't have to pay extra.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about your week, Adam?
My week, it's been pretty good. I have a friend in town from Illinois, my friend Zach. And so he's been here he's not staying with us, but he's been here since last Thursday. So we've been hanging out a little bit. I went to the movies again and saw Free Guy, the new Ryan Reynolds movie.
Oh, how was it?
Ooh.
It was good. I enjoyed it. It was just like, I don't know. It's kind of nice to see a movie that's like an original screenplay blockbuster, because like we just don't get those anymore.
No.
We get like action hero films, like all of the stuff that when I was younger we would watch on like in the movie theaters now gets just released as a Netflix original kind of thing. You know, like the rom-coms and all of that. So
Yeah.
it was nice to like be in a movie theater again, but then also just like see that it was really funny.
That's good. He's
Super
so
nerdy.
funny. He's so underrated as like a comedic actor, I feel.
Yeah.
Everyone's like,
Yeah.
he's so hot, but he's really funny.
Oh, so funny. Have you guys ever seen Van Wilder? It's like really gross. Like it's a gross movie, but it was like one of Ryan Reynolds. I don't want to say his first. I mean, I remember him from a TV show called Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
Oh, really? I've never heard of that
Yeah.
either.
Oh,
I
that
don't know
was
how
a
I feel
good
about
one.
that.
Yeah. Two Girls, One Cup really
Yeah, it
screwed
kinda-
everything with
like,
numbers.
Honestly, yeah, like that's my first thought. That's what I went to. You can't do like 3 people, 1 podcast. It's like your mind immediately goes to that.
That just put me in a bad space when that came out.
I've never even
Mentally.
seen the video, but like it's that iconic that like it's haunted
No,
me.
you don't
You don't
need to
even
see it.
need to. Yeah.
You don't need to see
But
it.
you guys should watch Van Wilder. Preferably not like with your families. it's really funny. But yeah, that was Ryan Reynolds. He is like a comedic genius, and I also love the fact that like he's calling out, especially with this movie, how his wife Blake Lively has like helped write a lot of his stuff, because he
didn't
was
know
the
that.
one. He was the one who pushed for Deadpool. Like, no one wanted to do it. He wrote the script for like 6 years ago or something before the first movie came out, and finally.
What?
But yeah, like he's been championing Deadpool, and it was a huge success.
I haven't
Massive.
seen it yet.
What?
Neither of them. Yeah.
That is
no.
shocking. You're joking, right?
No.
Wait, is Deadpool a part of Marvel or is it its own thing?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's a part
Yeah.
of Marvel, yeah.
You know what is so shocking to me? Sorry to steer the conversation again, but everything that Marvel has ever done is from a comic book. Like Daniel was like, they're never gonna run out because there's like thousands of comic books about Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm like, so none of this is
Yeah.
original content? He's like, no, it's all from the comic books. Like if you want to know what happens, you just go find the comic book. And I was like,
Right.
what? Like this
Yeah.
will go
Yeah,
on for
I
the next
mean-
50 years.
Oh,
They
yeah.
do change it, I guess. Some things are changed a little, but yeah, he's right. Like
Yeah.
it's all, none of it's original. I mean, the screenplays. The screenplay is original because someone wrote it, but they wrote it using the book. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like WandaVision is like such a cool idea. I was like, this has to be like modernized. Like this, like it's just like such a cool. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, back to what you were saying.
No. I mean, that's really it. That's all that's really been going on. And
Do you have any other plans, Zach?
yeah, tonight we're gonna go to have dinner and then hit up a speakeasy in town. So that'll be fun.
Ooh.
There's so many speakeasies in Phoenix, like literally just
Are
everywhere.
there? Wow, I wonder
Really?
why.
Yeah.
That's
There's
kind
one
of
in
strange.
downtown. There's one in downtown Gilbert, and then there's just like a bunch in downtown Phoenix, like where you walk into this shop that looks like a coffee shop, and there's like a locker in the back that you open, and it's a doorway. You know.
That's so cool.
That would be a really fun video for your second channel.
Yeah. Finding all the speakeasies. I need to start editing the Disney stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
do.
where is it?
Here's the thing. You guys both know me, perfectionist. Disney was a blast, but it was so rushed that I just
Right.
feel like the storyline is not going to be there. And that's why I've like hesitated on like editing it. But sometimes you just got to push. I just need to push through that and just be like, whatever. This is what it is.
Can you use story blocks to fill some gaps?
Well, I guess the storyline part is like the talking in between rides, or like let's give our thoughts on that ride. Like that wasn't there because the second we got off a ride, we were trying to get to the next one.
Yeah.
And since I was with a group of people, I didn't want to hold them back.
Right,
Because I already
right.
felt like sometimes when I was trying to get B-roll footage, I was like holding people back because I wanted to do some slow motion shots of like rides. I think it'll be good. I mean, there's some good stuff there. It's just I need to piece it together. And that's
It takes time.
I block myself out when I do that kind of stuff. I'm just like, oh, if it's not like 100% exactly how I envisioned it, like my creativity just shuts down.
Yeah.
And I don't like that about myself, but I need to get over it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see those videos.
Steve was like, could we just do voiceovers? And I was like, I hate voiceovers. But I mean, we might have to. I mean, I don't hate voiceovers, but,
Yeah.
you know.
I get you. I feel you. I don't like recording them. I don't mind
Right.
listening to them. I just don't like recording them.
If your original intent was to do a voiceover video, they're great. But if you're doing it to like fix a problem,
Yeah.
I feel like I can always tell. I'm just like, oh.
They didn't get that footage.
Yeah.
Camera battery died. That's me. So we lost Becca. So Becca, she's back. Oh, hey, there she is.
Sorry, I really had to pee.
That's okay.
Really?
She just left. She was like, I'm just not even going to interrupt this conversation.
Okay.
The EGs just goes right through you.
It really does. I wasn't expecting that. No, but on the topic of voiceovers, there's been several times where I've like royally screwed up a video. And like I try to fix it with a voiceover. I'm like, no, I can't do this. Like you said,
me
if
too.
the original intent was for a voiceover, it's great. Like, Nicole, your first houseplant tour is a voiceover, and that still blows my mind. Like, I had no
Oh my
idea.
God. That's so embarrassing. I'm glad you guys think it's so great. Well, for my first video, it's not terrible, but
I couldn't even tell. Oops. Sorry, that was probably so loud in the audio. I couldn't even tell.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I literally had no idea. Well, with videos where your face isn't showing, it's like you can't tell at all.
Well, that is true. If your face isn't showing, yeah, that's true.
Oh,
right.
I thought about something else I've been doing this week.
Yeah.
I've been trying to hand pollinate my Hoya. So
Oh my gosh, I saw your glasses. Did you
Those
happen to
glasses?
see those on a man on TikTok who does cross stitching?
oh wait, well, okay. Well, first of all, yes, I've seen his videos because he is hot. But I was looking for
Even
jeweler's
with the glasses on?
Oh my gosh, he's dreamy.
Oh
I actually had a couple people be like, "Oh my God, you're the hot cross stitch guy from TikTok," and I was like, "Yeah."
Okay, I didn't even know what he looked like because I only ever saw the things, and so like even thinking of him as being attractive, I'm like, what? I cannot place what the rest of his face looks like. I only know what he looks like with like googly eyes.
Yeah. And someone was like, "You should add the TikTok sound. Hello, my name is Susie. It's Susie with a Z."
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, no, I had read a long time ago when I was like trying to hand pollinate Hoya, because Hoya have been known to be like, there are a few people who really know how to do the hand pollination, and those people are keeping that information under lock and key, like they won't share it ever. And there's just like a lot of what ifs, like no one really knows. So I was like, well, I'm just going to try some things. Like before, I used to just like dab a makeup brush onto the pollen and then just dab it on other flowers and hoping that it happens.
Yeah.
But those glasses have really helped like be able to see the parts easier. But also
That's
I bought
crazy.
them basically for looking at the pests or to check for pests. But yeah, so I've been trying a couple things. I tried it with, well, my friends Lydia and Jessie came over and she wanted to try it on my Hoya compacta that was blooming because that was the only thing that was currently blooming. And my friend Jessie was like, why are you trying to pollinate the slowest growing Hoya? And I was like, yeah, you're right. This Hoya sucks.
Hoya sucks.
But I've recently tried to do it with my Shepherdii that just opened up some blooms. So I don't know. It'll be fun to see. Like, I think it'd be really cool if I got a seed pod and then I could just like do a time lapse of it growing. Because it's just like there's so much unknown.
That would be so crazy. I was going to ask if you filmed any of that, like just to see.
I mean, I want to. There's a person on Instagram, his name's Derek Fan, who had like a very macro lens video on like pollinating Hoya.
Cool.
But it's not that, it's a very quick video. So yeah, it just seems like it's a lot of trial and error, and it just baffles me because these Hoyas get pollinated by moths like out in the wild. Like, why the hell can't we figure this out? Like, I don't know.
Someone asked the moths.
Oh, what if you did like a moth enclosure, like a butterfly enclosure, but it's moths, and you put the Hoyas in it? This is like so like large scale, like weird, but how cool.
I know, and I've actually like thought about putting my Hoyas outside overnight because I think with all the rain we've been getting in Arizona, like I've noticed a lot of moths around.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a thing when it starts to rain, like they come out or whatever, but I was like, well, if I put it outside at night, maybe the moth will just like do the job.
Yeah.
Leave the porch light on so they're already curious. And they're like,
Set up
"Ooh,
a
what's
GoPro.
Oh, what's that? What's that
Yes.
smell? Oh, I do have a GoPro. I could do that.
Set it up.
Do
Yes,
GoPros do
this
night
is-
vision? Oh, wait, you would have
Well, if
the
he has
porch
the-
light on, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to leave the light on because the moths, that'll
Yeah.
attract them to it. That would be so cool.
Wow.
But then I was like, what if I had this like scorpion that just was like traipsing on my plant? Ooh.
Tarantula. Ooh. Burrows
I have
in
never,
the soil.
I have never seen a tarantula here, but there was one. Like when I was kayaking, I heard someone who was like climbing on the cliffs. They're like, "There's a tarantula over here." Honestly, if I saw one in real life, I would freak out.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was going to say they're so cool, but really freaky.
They're so gross. Like I cannot. The fuzziness is what gets me. And like I like bees. Like I like like that kind of fuzziness, but the legs, the fuzzies, no. I was like 8 years old and I was visiting Arizona because my stepsister's grandparents had a house out there, and it was close to Phoenix area. We walked outside onto the patio, and on the left, and I remember this vividly, on the side of the building, tarantula, size of my adult hand, like just black. And then he had like his two legs up like he was gonna attack somebody. I was traumatized for so long. I didn't want to go out there the rest of the vacation. It was really horrific.
You have to approach them with your net slowly so it doesn't sting you. And
Is that your Animal Crossing advice?
They are vicious in Animal Crossing.
Also, I want to
They
point
really
out,
are.
Nicole said that the spider was as big as her adult hand, but Nicole is a small person, so it's not that big.
Yeah.
My adult hand is a toddler size hand. It is.
I could just hear your mom in the background be like, "Cole, there's a fucking spider."
Oh yeah, it was scary. Anyway,
Wow,
so
so
42
we're,
minutes in.
yeah, we're about to have another episode where we're like, all right, we're not going to talk about the topic. Like, this topic is cursed.
Yeah, I think it is. Okay, so should we talk about plant dupes and actually get into this topic?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we were given this topic suggestion by someone, but I thought it would be fun because there are a lot of, I would say the ones I could think of off the top of my head are philodendrons, but they're just like a lot of plants that can look like another plant. And some of the plants that they look like are, I don't necessarily know if I want to say rare. I guess some of them probably are officially rare, like the Spiritus Sancti is rare.
Uncommon.
Uncommon / expensive.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about some plants that we think are good dupes for expensive / rare plants that aren't super hard to find or super expensive. And honestly, I feel like I've been noticing a trend of plant prices kind of decline. Have you guys
Really?
noticed that same thing?
Yes. Oh, and I was talking to somebody about this, how there's that seller, how you mentioned there's somebody like manipulating the market. I talked about it in a video, and somebody actually said, and I don't know if this is true or not, but they were like, that's actually illegal or something like that. I don't know what the context of that was. I'm butchering it. It was one of my most recent repotting videos. I discussed how that person was, how I heard about that, and the person was like, yeah, that's actually like not legal to like manipulate the market like that or something like that. I don't remember.
Interesting.
Don't quote me on that. I'm not an economics major.
I think it is illegal to manipulate the market, but in that situation, I don't think it was illegal what they did. It was just really shitty because they were just saying in this group, because they were an admin of like the Facebook group. They're like, we're no longer allowing this sale to be pushed up here.
They're so wild. Oh, okay. So we'll just go one by one and talk about a dupe.
Yeah, because I mean, I have a few in my head, but you guys might take them. But I'm just going to do my first one, which is my Philodendron Billietier, which, by the way, I cut it, Becca. So I'm rooting your cutting for you.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I always have these like grand plans of like, oh, I can share this, but then I just don't get my ass around to actually propagating it. But I did. I finally did.
Yay.
But the Billietier, especially like my version, because it got mature like really quickly. I don't know why. I don't know how. I feel like I was blessed with the Billietier blessing, but the bigger mature leaves have these like very tall lobes. They're very skinny, prehistoric looking, and it looks very similar. Don't come for me at this, but it does look very similar to like a Spiritus Sancti. So it like
It does though.
yeah, maybe not when it's a babe, but I mean, and obviously the stems are like kind of an orangish color. The newer stems are an orangish color, but the leaf shape is very similar to a Spiritus Sancti, where it's a very skinny, long leaf with very tall lobes on either side, almost like ears.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
and honestly, it grows so well. So if you're in the market for a Billietier, like, and it's pricey, I promise you'll love it. I don't know. It's hard to be like, okay, you should buy it anyway, because I don't know people's financial situations, but it is a very like rewarding, beautiful plant.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be like,
I feel like
that would qualify for an expensive plant that's worth it. We did that episode a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
feel
that
like
episode.
That was a fun one.
Me too.
Yeah.
I feel like the Billietier is at a good price point now in comparison to what it was like just a year ago. Like I feel like it's coming down in price. Yeah, because at one point it was super sought out. Like it was, on the more uncommon side of plants. And that's why I never bought one.
I'm planning on doing a video. I know, weird. I'm planning on doing a video, but like 5 philodendrons that are just like no fuss, because that one is going to be on there. Like I've said it many times in this podcast that I just don't do anything special with humidity, and that one just continues to grow. Well, I think I said that on our expensive plants worth it episode 2. Yeah.
Because your Billy's in your shower. I mean, what do you take, like one shower a week? So yeah, they don't need a lot of humidity at all.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Steve messaged me, our friend who we mentioned in that episode. He messaged me something about like I should have known Chewbacca was the same showering schedule as you.
So funny. Oh my gosh. That is so
I love
funny.
that man.
Oh my gosh.
He's the best.
I just don't see the point. Now that I'm living where I'm living, I do shower more often, like just a body shower. But when I was living here, I wouldn't ever sweat. It would just evaporate right off. What's the point? Like,
yeah, what's the point?
even if I was outside, I still wouldn't feel the need to sweat. But when I'm outside in Missouri and I'm covered in sweat, like, yeah, I want to shower because I feel disgusting.
Yeah.
On your tractor.
Yeah, on my tractor. I drove a massive tractor today at Tank's, windrow lot.
Ooh, is this on? Did this get on film?
Yeah.
I hope you got a picture.
Yeah, Shota filmed me, and I was like, I'm scared. This is a huge machine. Like, it was so big.
That's what she said. He said.
I know. Okay, I'll go. A plant.
Okay.
And this feels so familiar, so I feel like maybe I said this in the last episode, and then we didn't actually discuss the topic. But if you want a plant similar to an alba monstera, grow a Marble Queen pothos up a pole. Not a pole necessarily, but just like a piece of wood, a plank of wood, or a moss pole that you keep wet. Because if you keep the moss pole wet, the plant will adhere, but really it just needs wood, something to grow up. So there's so many people on Instagram that I've seen do this, like people from Australia, Craig Milren. He does it.
The leaves, they get fenestrated.
Yeah.
They get huge.
Yeah, pothos get really, really big, and they get fennies. Like when I was in Mexico, they had golden pothos everywhere. And they looked like, the leaves were so big, they looked like banana tree plants.
Yeah.
So you can do the same thing with a Marble Queen, and the variegation is more similar to an albo because it's obviously like usually white and green marble. And you know, when I was looking in my cabinet, because I have these two plants next to each other, I have a cutting of my alba monstera and the Epipremnum variegata, and their variegation is exactly the same.
Really?
Yeah. The pattern on the leaves is exactly the same. It's the same type of variegation, because there's like different types of variegation, but it's the same kind. Like if you zoom in on the Epipremnum and you zoom in on the monstera, you would not be able to tell the difference between them. I think they're both.
Good video topic right there. Write that down.
I don't know what I would do besides just zoom in. She'd be like, okay, like which is which.
This is my 2-minute video.
Yeah. So that's my entry.
I think if you're living in a place like Florida, because honestly at Disney World I saw tons of pothos just like gigantically fenestrated growing in trees.
Yeah.
But if you're living in a place like with humidity like that, then why not try to like find a nice shady spot outside and have it like cling onto your tree?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Heaven on earth.
And did you know at Epcot, Adam, the Mexico part of Epcot, did you see the big tree with all the orchids in it?
No.
You look very disappointed.
Well, okay, so Epcot was a whirlwind and stressful, but we did go to the Mexico spot because there's a ride inside the Mexico pavilion.
Yeah.
That we rode on, but no, I didn't see the tree because we didn't get to Mexico till later at night.
Okay, well that's probably why. Yeah,
the Animal Kingdom has a bunch of orchids in their trees, like mini orchids.
Oh, okay, so it's probably the same thing. Yeah, that was really cool. That makes me want to try that next year in my trees, but I don't know if the squirrels would knock them down. I'm not sure.
Oh, squirrels are evil.
Yeah.
They're just evil.
Squirrels have not been the culprit in my house, actually. Like,
that's good.
It's been the deer and it's been the raccoons.
Do you have any Apuntia outside in pots?
Yeah, and they don't eat it. It's
interesting.
Like hella spiky though, like really spiky Apuntia. So
okay.
I think they're like,
yeah, because I mean, some of them I swear these squirrels just don't care, but that could be it. Yeah. Okay, I have one. They're not identical, but I have both of these plants. The Alocasia Black Velvet, which is it's not rare at all. It's more on the uncommon side and was highly sought out when it first, I don't know, quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes, came out. And it was pretty pricey too. But the Regal Shield, the shape and the darkness of the leaf looks pretty similar to it, aside from like the fact that it's fuzzy and it has like the white veining on it. But the Regal Shield, I feel, just gets so much bigger and it's just so much more rewarding than the Black Velvet. And the Black Velvet is do you either one of you guys have a Black Velvet?
Don't I have one? No. Is it really small?
Yeah, the leaves can get big. Like the leaves on mine are probably the size of my toddler hands.
So 3 inches long.
Yes, pretty much. But yeah, I mean, like the fuzziness, I guess, is what makes that plant stand out. But looks wise, I feel like the darkness of the leaves are pretty similar.
Yeah.
In the shade of
Yeah.
And it's way cheaper.
Yeah, they're so cheap. What are they, like $5 to $10 at your local nursery? I mean, depending on where you are. In the Midwest, for sure. Yeah,
you could get them pretty easily in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And you can grow them outside in your landscaping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, if you're in the right zone, they could get huge outside. I have mine in a pot, my Regal Shield in a pot outside on my front porch in complete shade. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it when I bring it in because it's really big. Like, I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, where it's going to get ample light, but it's very rewarding plant.
You should plant it outside in your landscaping.
Because it'll come back, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so when I was in Illinois, the nursery that I went to a lot, Growing Grounds in Bloomington, had these giant banana trees in their landscaping. I was like, I don't know how you do this. And then the lady walked me through how they do it. Like in the wintertime when it gets close, they cut it down to there's just like a 6-inch stub, and then they put like 12 inches of mulch on top of it. Just like a mound of mulch to keep it protected over the winter so it doesn't freeze. And then when it starts to hit spring again, they'll dig some of that mulch away and let it start growing again.
Because there are, like, the tubers, that's pretty much what it grows. Well, I think I saw Amanda Ray Wright do this in her garden, if I'm not mistaken, with the mulch. She did that. Yeah, I might try that because I have a feeling if I bring it in, I'm just going to kill it because it's going to be pissed. So, yeah, maybe I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so another dupe I should have mentioned earlier was the Adabat Poense. I feel like that's also can kind of be a dupe for the Spiritus Sancti.
Yeah.
Granted,
they're similar.
I've never visually seen a Spiritus Sancti in real life, but the Adabat Poense does have like the purple backs to it.
Yeah.
It does have the long, slender leaves with the lobes. And honestly, it does really well in it's not fussy, because again, that's another one that I have just like out. And it's actually kind of climbing up my wall because it's just like it was too heavy to topple over. So then I was like supporting it by the wall, and now it's not stuck to the wall or anything, but it's just like working its way up my wall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
I haven't, Adam, I feel like I haven't seen your plants in so long. Like I used to catch up with your plants because you made YouTube videos. And now I'm like, what is this? What does this plant look like? What does this plant look like? I'm curious.
We need a houseplant tour.
Well, see, and a little bit of me is shamed because that Adabat Poense is in Leca. It's grown really well. I mean, I think I gave you a cutting of it, Becky. Do you still have yours?
Yeah, and it's putting out a new leaf, and it's like bright purple. So cute.
Yeah, they're so cool. I have it in Leca, and it's still in like a 4-inch pot. And this plant has got to be 4 feet tall now. So,
wow.
And that's why
insane.
And I'm just like, okay, well, I get a little embarrassed because it's like way past the time of where I should have like changed or either cut it, or I'm gonna propagate it probably.
Is it in a net pot? So like the roots are just all, it's gonna have to be like
they're just all
snip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still growing and it's still happy. It just opened up its newest leaf, and I think the leaf size in these ones is probably about like 8 or 9 inches now. So.
Jeez.
Wow.
Well, it's obviously happy. Like you're not, whatever by whoever's standard, you're not quote unquote doing something right, but you clearly are. If the plant wasn't happy, it would tell you.
Yeah, that's true. I just feel like it's not supported, so when I take it away from its spot, it's just like flopsy mopsy.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to put supports in Leca, so I mean.
Yeah. My biggest annoyance with it, but.
Yeah. Okay. I've never searched for an Adabat Poense like to purchase. Is the price point pretty reasonable?
I feel like it is.
Compared to a Spiritus Sancti, like.
I feel like it's the same as the Billietier, like right around that same price point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think because like both of them grow really well in all conditions, you don't have to have a special you don't have to put it in your greenhouse cabinet. Like it can just exist. But when I got the Adabat Poense and the Billietier, because both of those were at the same time from you, Becca, when you gifted them to me, I think that they were kind of either beginning to be highly sought after or like. At that point, they were probably very expensive, and since people have gotten them and I think grown them out and like propagated. I think the price has definitely come down a lot on both of those because they're just easy to take care of.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this isn't me saying this as a dupe, but I feel kind of like a jerk saying this, but there's certain Hoyas that are like super expensive and like hard to find that just look like a Hoya pubic calyx to me, but like slightly more splashy. And I'm just like, what's the difference? Like, it looks like, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel bad because I know that there's probably...
You better watch yourself, Rebecca.
I know. But like, sometimes I see people post like, oh, I finally got my Hoya AH7069. And I'm like, so you got a 2-leaf cutting of a pubic calyx? Like, that has silver splash? Like, I'm just confused. Like, I don't get it. I'm not that deep into Hoyas anymore. Like, Hoyas was like, it was like a fun stop. Like, you know, I rode the rides and then I got back in the car and, you know, I have my souvenirs that I like, but like, I'm not trying to go back. Like, it's a one and done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I feel like you're right though. The pubic calyx is like, if you find a splashy version of it, it's like, yeah, it's beautiful and it's just like most of the other Hoya.
It looks like the AH769 4000. Like,
are you talking about the 074, the AH07?
I have no idea, Adam. Like, these names, I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah, what's with the numbers? Let's give it a name.
It's just to me, like to the untrained eye, obviously, is my thought. But like, that's how I feel. Like, when I'm sure that I'm evoking a similar feeling in people. Like, you know, when you're in a group on Facebook with people who like just happen to have a house plant and they're like, why is this plant being sold for $300? It's just a monstera. But they don't understand that because it's variegated, it's much more quote unquote valuable. Like, so they'll question the seller and be like, why are you selling this for $300? I have one growing in my backyard. It's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
You have no idea the value that this plant has. So I know that I'm doing that right now. But at the same time, I'm still going to stand by it and be like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Because this is rare plant dupes. So it's a perfect time to do it.
Yeah. So that's mine. But it's a half-hearted entry into the list.
Okay, I have one that I actually don't have this quote unquote uncommon houseplant, but I do have a Micans, and I feel like the Melano looks very similar to the Micans. I've been wanting a Melanochrysum for a while now. I feel like the price on these are also going down. I don't know. I don't really search the internet for prices other than like a few Etsy shops that I follow on Etsy. But I have seen them like, I don't know. It's still too much for me, but I feel like the Micans just looks very similar to it. Now, I don't think that the Micans leaves can get as big as a Melano.
Right.
Like even maybe in their natural habitat, maybe, but just the shape and the color and I don't know, right?
Yeah. The Micans will probably be more round. The Melano will be longer, more like lance shaped. But like, have you guys seen Plant Life in the Tropics? Her Micans that's growing up a wall. Like, the leaves are so like round and beautiful.
Okay.
And big.
No,
I think that even when we were at the botanical garden in Missouri, I think that there was a few Micans that were climbing up something and the leaves were very big.
Yeah, and wasn't I like, isn't that a Melano? I'm pretty sure I said that, and you're like, no, that's Micans, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, because I kind of tracked it down. Oh shit, I tracked it down to where it started. But yeah, they're very similar.
Kidding.
Yeah, don't say that.
Kidding.
But the leaf texture, the leaf visual, like the appearance is like exactly like a Melano, and without 90% of the stress
and the problems. That plant is so annoying.
Gosh.
Is it really? Maybe I don't want it then.
I have a baby Melano I can send you, Nicole.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like a little top cutting. It's not impressive, but I will send it to you if you want, because you like small plants.
And just like
I
a baby,
do.
it's a huge responsibility.
Yeah, well, it's been sitting in my cabinet under a grow light in moss for like 6 months. Or no, not 6 months. I haven't had the cabinet that long. But, you know, like I don't do anything. I'm sure it has a good root system.
That's how my pasta zanum is. You guys, I shit you not, this plant will not grow in any other medium except just pure sphagnum moss. Moist, pure sphagnum moss.
Maybe that's what's wrong with mine.
It doesn't want to be in soil. It doesn't want to be in leca. I've tried different types of soil. It's just, that plant's a bitch. A bitch.
Yeah.
But in sphagnum moss, she's like living her best life. There's like 3 new leaves coming out right now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Ooh, gosh, do I have one? Do I have another one? I don't know.
Pasta
if I
zanum.
do.
Pasta zanum kind of look, well, not in their mature form, but kind of look like a freaking pothos.
Okay, well, I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
I was gonna say, isn't the pasta zanum like a heart-shaped big leaf philodendron? Like that's not.
Well, yeah. But okay, well, I'll show you what my pasta zanum look like right now, and that shit looks like a pothos.
That's so funny.
They're tiny.
Okay.
I don't know if I have any other ones either.
Well, I mean, here's what I'll say. And this just feeds off of what I said earlier, so it's like not that new of a concept, but just growing your plants up something will help them get to that mature form and make them look like a completely different plant.
Yeah.
Like completely different, like Monstera dubia, if you ever are able. Oh, wait, what's that one plant that's being sold at like big box stores? It's a
Peru?
Is it a Rhaphidophora heyi?
Yeah, that might be a good dupe for the dubia.
Yeah. Yeah, very similar leaf shape, texture, and visuals.
Yeah.
For sure.
Wait, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Now I need to look this up.
Okay, so it's the Rhaphidophora heyi or rayi?
I think it's hay, Hayyii.
Okay. It's currently being sold by Trending Tropicals, Costa Farms. So it can't be that difficult to find, right?
Yeah, because, well, there was one in Walmart when we were in Missouri. There was a couple.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that does look very similar.
Yeah, so that might be a good dupe for the dubia. And I don't know if the dubia is still hard to find. But the whole reason I brought this up was because the dubia, when it keeps shingling, it gets fenestrations in it. So it's just, I don't know, it's just cool to see the plants, like when you put them in an environment that's so similar to their native environment, they can just...
It shingles just like the dubia.
Yeah, they can just look like completely different plants. Like the Cebu Blue, for example, gets fenestrations.
Yeah, which is crazy to me.
This is why I love plants, because, like, they start getting fenestrations when they reach, like, taller spaces, because usually they're growing on trees or something, and when they get to the taller spaces, they're getting more elements that they're not used to, so they develop fenestration so wind can fly through them and not break them off, and it's just like, how cool is that?
It's just so cool.
Yeah, that's really amazing.
Yeah.
Let's just take a trip to the rainforest, you guys, like Brazil. Like, let's just go, you know? Can
Yeah.
we just go?
I mean, I'm trying. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Ugh.
I know.
So fun. I mean, we didn't really talk about the topic for very long, so I feel guilty, but there really isn't much more. Like, we'd really just be stretching it out for nothing.
Yeah, you know, I was trying to think of, like, cactus, you know, but I guess I don't know very many...
No.
I don't know very many rare species of cacti. I know that there are, but I'm just not very privy to all that info.
No, and
And I think that, like... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that all of us are working off our own knowledge of our own collections and not necessarily, like, the plant world in general. So, like, I think we've given some good ones based on our own, like, experiences with these plants. Because I think we all have experiences with the ones we mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for something, like, achievable as far as a cactus, like, anything crested is freaking cool. So, I don't know. I mean, it's not rare for... Actually, I don't want to say it's not rare for cacti to be crested, because for certain ones it is. Like saguaro, crested saguaros are so rare. There's a couple, like maybe 2 in Tucson.
Really?
And like they're coveted, you know, like they're protected. I mean, all saguaro is protected, but you know what I mean? Like they're like landmarks.
Yeah.
It's really cool to have like a crested cacti, so that's
yeah.
fun.
There's a huge one at the Phoenix Botanical Garden, the Desert Botanical Garden, and it's so cool. It's just like, I don't know. It's very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, though, in like the big box stores, you'll find crested euphorbia, like even the euphorbia lactea, but they are grafted onto the base of something else, which is still okay, but it's not like it didn't form naturally.
And you can also like cut that off, I'm pretty sure, and like reroot it in soil if you didn't want it to be grafted.
I had one that was grafted, and I snipped the top off because it got rot, and it didn't go all the way up, and I snipped it off, and I put it in soil, and it grew. I mean, it's dead now, but it rooted.
Yeah.
It did before.
We don't need to talk about that.
Oh, Nicole, speaking of cactus, keep this in or take it out. Did you try the Tank's cactus mix?
Yeah, I love it. Very similar to De La Tank's.
Yeah, it is.
Except it has that chunky, like, you know, whatever that barky stuff is in it.
Cocoa chips.
Yeah. Well, don't you have that in yours, though?
Yeah. So I don't know what you're referring to.
That. I'll have to take a picture of it and show it to you because I don't know what it is.
All right, Adam's been trying to end this episode for like 10 minutes, and like we keep talking.
No, it's all right. Well, we've reached feature film length right now.
Oops. All right. Well, we'll see you guys later.
Okay.
Bye.
Well, that's our episode for today. Rare/expensive plant dupes. Don't forget to follow us over on Instagram. We're at Potted Together. Just at Potted Together, right? Why did I just have a brain fart?
Instagram is at Potted Together, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. At Potted Together. Find us on YouTube at Potted Together Podcast. And also, we have not received any listener questions, personal or plant-wise, in a while. So I just want to remind you that you feel free to email us at pottedtogetherpodcast@gmail.com. It's easier with email. You can get to it through our Instagram, but we can answer your plant questions, personal questions within reason. I don't know, maybe a fun little catch-up topic, but shoot us an email over there. And then also you can find us individually. I'm at NotDude, KNOT. We have Becca at De La Plants and Nicole at My Clean Leaves.
Woohoo.
Yay.
Is that it? That's it. That's all of our housekeeping.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, friends. We'll catch up with you next week.
Bye.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.